So I ask a lot of wrestlers this. If you could sum your career up in one word so far with everything you've done, how would you describe it?
Wow, okay. Um, I'd probably say rewarding. I think that's a good word to describe everything that I've done so far. Um, just in terms of what I've got out of it. So that's quite a positive one.
I love the fact you said rewarding. I've never actually heard that one as well.
Really? That's well, yeah. I think just like what wrestling, like confidence wise, like I've grown so much out of that kind of. So I appreciate everything that I've got from it. So I think that's quite cool.
Awesome, awesome. Freya, how's the week been so far? I know we're only on Monday.
Stressful, stressful. It is only Monday, but it's stressful.
Let
Yeah.
me guess, is that juggling like different things and stuff?
Yeah, I'd say work definitely. Working, I work with children. Um, I love my job, but working with children is at times. Training, I'm a dancer as well, so I have to juggle two hobbies as well as a job. So yeah, it's busy.
And do you get time to yourself juggling all that?
No, not really. There'll be I had a nice day yesterday. I had a show on Saturday, but it was a 3-day Sunday, so I stayed in bed and watched Netflix all day, to be fair.
Go on, what did you watch?
I watched Normal People. That's what I watched. 12 episodes and I had it done.
When you say normal people, I'm like, is the world full of normal people?
Never, but that's what makes us all exciting. So, yeah.
Absolutely, and stuff like that. So yeah, like I mentioned before we came on the air, we're talking about your career in wrestling and stuff like that. So let's start at the beginning. How did it all begin? And I'm talking more from a fan's point of view at the minute.
Okay, so when I was growing up, my dad was watching wrestling all the time. And I was such a daddy's girl that it didn't really interest me that much, but I was there, so I'd sit and watch it. And then as I've got older, my dad and my uncle actually started wrestling training in 2018. And at that point, I was around 14. So I gave it a go. I thought, it's something to do, spend some more time with my dad, we'll see how it goes. And I stuck at it for a little while. But obviously, that's at like that age, I was in school and I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, like it's fun, I enjoy it, but it was nothing I really like saw myself doing. And obviously, as I said, I'm a dancer as well. It was kind of like so much going on. I was like, right, I'm gonna take a step back. Not really for me. And then fast forward a couple of years later, when I was around 18, end of 18, turning 19, I was kind of like, right, I need to do something else. I was like, I want to lose a bit of weight. I want to get a bit more fit. And I was like, right, wrestling. What more than that can you do? Because, it's tough and it is, you know, you've seen some of the wrestlers, it helps you with that kind of stuff. So I went back with the mindset of, I'm going to do this for me. I never want to have a match. I was like, I'm not confident enough for that. I'm just going to go for training, make friends, see how it goes. And I don't know, I think just like the environment of, that's built there and the people there, that eventually I was just like, okay, one match and we'll see how it goes. Because my coach wanted me to debut and I was like, oh, I don't know, we'll see. And then when I finally got up the courage, I was like, okay, I'll have one match. We'll see if I like it or not. And at this time, I debuted on the 20th of April, and we had a show the weekend after. And he was like, if you enjoy this one, I'll put you on next week's show. If not, you've done it once, and we don't have to talk on it again. But as soon as I came back after my first match, I was like, cool, I'll be on next week's show.
One unhooked, is that what you're saying?
I was, yeah, literally first match, and I was like, right, next one now, please. I'm ready to go again. I was buzzing, the feeling. I never thought I'd feel like that, because it never, as bad as it feels to say, it was never like my childhood dream as it for other wrestlers. So I never want to take like for advantage what I do have and how like fast it's all gone. Because although it wasn't a dream at the time, since I've gotten into it, it's kind of like I just want to go as far as I can, and it is now become a dream of like older me. So
Absolutely. Now it says on your Instagram you're trained by somebody who I really respect, Joseph Connors. What's what you learned from Joseph basically?
Joe, I cannot thank that man enough. I don't know. He is the one that encouraged me to have my debut. He was like, made me feel so comfortable. He was like, if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. But he was like, I believe in you. I think you can do this. He was like, he saw something in me. And when I did first start training, I had no confidence whatsoever. And I thank him for like every opportunity he's given me. And just, I don't know, he's just like, he's a great guy. You know, he's easy to talk to. If you need anything, he's there, always makes you feel comfortable. And like, he just wants what's best for you. So yeah, like I said, I cannot thank him enough. He does so much for me, and I appreciate everything that he's done.
It's also got like so much experience. I mean, I don't even know how many years he's got.
I think it's like 20. I think something like that. I know he's been in the business for a long time, and you know, just being trained somewhat like by someone that, you know, has that much experience, and it's kind of like I'm getting all the knowledge from him. It's just crazy to see where he's been. And then my obviously when I first started watching shows at Elevation, I was only 14. And then my second ever match, I was in a tag team with Joseph Connors and Riley Nova, and it was just crazy to go from like this young girl sat in the audience watching these like wrestlers as a fan, and it's like now they're in my match. I was just, it was like hard to believe really, but yeah,
Absolutely. So you
fangirling,
mentioned, sorry, go ahead.
fangirling a little bit.
Absolutely, and stuff like that. So you mentioned obviously dancing and stuff like that. Is that helped you more when it's wrestling training?
Yeah, definitely. It's just having that like background and stuff. So really, that's kind of like my style. I do a lot of like the dance stuff, and I take that, everything that I've done there, and turn it into some sort of wrestling thing. So
Awesome. Now, looking obviously at your Instagram, because then it says 2025 Colville Classic winner. Talk about this.
right, okay, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I've got my drink. I'm ready. Go ahead. Oh, hello.
This is my Colville Classic cup. It just on my, so it's handy. It's to hand right now. But yeah, at Elevation we have a yearly competition called the Colville Classic, and the final of it is a fatal four-way. And last year was the first ever year, so 2024 was the first ever year of the cup. And my friend Kai Daniels won it. And at that point, I was in a, I wasn't even in the running. Like I didn't have a match to try and get to that. I was involved with like the women's title, that sort of thing. But then this year, the like kind of semi-final match was me and Kai Daniels, obviously the winner the year before. We had a tag match which took us through to the final, and then it was a fatal four-way match, which I won. I was yeah, it was quite a surreal moment. Really nice to win it, obviously off of my friend Kai Daniels, my best friend. So kind of like a passing the torch moment. Nice to go. I said I'm taking care of it for him, so. But yeah, so I get to keep this for the year until the next Colville Classic competition.
He's definitely coming for that. He's got to be on it.
Oh no, you can't have it back. You can't have it back. But it was definitely a surreal competition. It was obviously me against three other male wrestlers. So it was just nice to obviously my wrestling demographic is mainly like the young children, young girls. And it's really nice how many of them came after and was like, oh, you beat the three big men. So it was kind of like, oh, I could do that. So it's just nice to, you know, portray that for them.
Absolutely. You mentioned obviously they're getting in the ring, obviously with male wrestlers and stuff like that. What's obviously your overall opinion on that? Because I know some fans don't like it, some's very vocal about it and stuff like that. What's your overall opinion on it?
My opinion, I love wrestling the men. I appreciate every single woman. I love wrestling the women, but I feel like myself as a person, I feel like I perform not better. I feel like I really feel like I step up when I'm in there with the men. So I know that I'm going to hit them harder, you know, I'm going to move faster, and the women are absolutely fantastic. I don't know, I feel like it's just that feel of I've got this. Like you're a man, but I've got this. I can do it too. And some of my most favorite matches have been intergender matches with a male. So I enjoy it. I know some people aren't too fond of, you know, the men and the women fighting, but I don't see an issue with it. I enjoy it.
I can think of countless women, you know what I mean, who's got in the ring with men and stuff like that, and they put on absolute bangers.
Yeah, yeah. I think because women, they have so much to offer as well. And, just I think it's all about having a good opponent, whether they're male or female. So, yeah, I'm happy with either.
Absolutely. Now, I want to talk about obviously the women's wrestling and stuff like that because there's some incredible talent during the UK scene. You know, Maddie Morgan's one. I mean, there's Lana Ross. There's so many people, and I don't want to name some because I probably missed some. But you're part of that. How's that feel?
You know what? It's crazy because, like you said, there are so many of these women. Like, I'll be scrolling through my Instagram and I see them come up on my page, and I'm just like, wow. Like, it's just what I aspire to be, because it's kind of like I'm still fairly new. I'm 18 months into my career per se, and it's kind of like that's what I want to get to. I see what they're doing and how well they're portraying themselves, and it's kind of like it is possible, because, like you said, they're on the scene and they're doing so well for themselves. It's kind of like just a good message to have out there of like, we have got some top women, and this is how, work yourself towards that. That's where you aim to be.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you about your match at UKW against Nisa recently because I was there. What do you remember about that match?
I remember that was crazy. That was my first ever time in a 20-foot ring. So that put my fitness to the test. But I really enjoyed that match, to be fair. It was I was heel Freya Rose there. So not very often I get to do that, but I do enjoy playing both sides a little bit, seeing what kind of personalities I have. But Nisa was absolutely lovely, and it was just nice to debut somewhere else as well. I just like going to new places, meeting new people, and the amount of lovely people and talented people that were at UKW. It was just nice to venture out a bit more and meet new people. And obviously it was for the belt as well, which I didn't win, but it's always good to give it a go.
Yeah, I will be honest. I was talking about with a friend of mine on the way. I'm saying that Freya Rose was really putting a good show. Do you know what I mean? I thought you did really well.
Thank you. I do try.
I will say, if you remember the table, the white table thing, that's where I was sat.
Yes, I remember I was walking around and I saw the ring light and I was like, that's fancy. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, do you know what? There are a lot of wrestlers like, have they got a full setup? Because we were actually streaming it live.
Oh, were you? Oh, that's cool. I just
So,
remember a cool little setup. I'd like to be sitting over there.
but you mentioned heel and stuff like that. Now, look at your character. I mean, I feel like you said there you can do both and stuff like that. But if you have to pick one, which do you prefer?
I prefer being a face. Obviously, as I've said, my demographic is the younger girls, the younger children. I think with being that dancer, gymnastic type, it resonates with them quite a bit. So just seeing how much like they aspire to be like me, which is obviously what they've said before, and that I inspire them. I love the feeling that I get from that. It's kind of like, this is why I want to do it, just to like inspire the young children. But I do love being heel. I just enjoy the blaseness of it, of whatever, I can do what I want now. But if I had to choose one, I think being a face, because being a heel, I could never be mean to the children or insult them like that. I'm too unserious for that. So my heel character is quite like, I don't really care, rather than the angry, aggressive shouting at people, because I just can't do it. I'm just not serious enough.
I can just imagine like kids like hurling abuse at you, just start there laughing even though you're a heel.
Yeah, literally. That's kind of like what it's like. Because at PEW, that's where I'm a heel there. That was my first ever heel debut. It was my first ever outside booking, and wanted me as a heel, which I hadn't done before, but I was open for the challenge. So it's kind of like when I had these kids shouting at me, like different to what I was usually like, and I was just like, okay, I don't care, because like I could never shout back at them. So it's just kind of a bit of a walk past, a bit of a hair flip, like whatever, rather than the shout back, because I couldn't do it.
Absolutely. So we've obviously mentioned a couple of things you've done so far, but what's some of your personal highlights so far you've done?
I'd say my biggest highlight, at Elevation, there was a storyline. There's a wrestler called Eli Valentine, and we had a bit of a rivalry, and it was revealed that the tag team Bad Intentions were my dad and my uncle. and that was a real nice like moment for me, because as much as like some of the fans that knew us knew it, the reaction of people going like what, because Bad Intentions have been there for a long time, and everyone knows who they are, and it's kind of like you have Freya Rose come in, not like people knew who I was, but we'd never really been in a ring together, obviously me and Bad Intentions. So when it was like, oh, this is her dad, this is her uncle, people were so shocked. Nice to then I then continued with the rivalry there with Eli Valentine, and it was now not just me on my own, it was me with my dad and my uncle against like him and his teammates, and that whole rivalry ended with a hair versus career match. So it was Eli Valentine, I would cut his hair, or my dad would have to retire, and in the end I won the match and I got to cut Eli Valentine's hair off in the middle of a wrestling ring, which was just a bizarre moment, but it was something that was just like fantastic. Like the fans, they thought it was absolutely amazing, and it was just fun to, you know, put that show on for people to be just like, what are we watching right now? But yeah, so that was one of my highlights.
Where can I watch that, Matt? Because I'm really intrigued already.
I have to find it. I think it might be on a YouTube somewhere, but it was just literally right at the end of the match. My dad and my uncle, he tried to run to the back. They grabbed him out, sat him down. I had the scissors. It's quite a funny story actually, because I had these scissors and I underestimated how thick his hair was. So I'm there chopping it, and everyone's like, "Yeah, cut his hair," and I'm going, and I'm still going. There's some funny pictures on my Instagram, but I'm there. I'm just really like trying to get to it, but yeah, it was interesting. I'll have to find it.
Please send it because I'm really intrigued with this one.
Sorry, just cut out then.
Sorry, can you hear me all right?
Yep, all good.
Yep, I said when you find it, please send it because I'm really intrigued.
I will. I'll get that over to you. That was definitely a fun match.
Absolutely. So you mentioned elevation and stuff like that. Now, for people who's obviously not familiar with the promotion, tell us a little bit about it.
So Elevation is obviously run by Joseph Connors. We have some fantastic coaches. We have Joseph Connors, we have Lee Hunter and Jack Selstrom. They're our main coaches. And obviously they run different nights. So it's kind of like, if you want to train at Elevation, you have like a variety of different coaches that you can go to, a variety of different classes. In fact, I am actually one of them. Me and Ricky Regan, we teach kids classes on a Saturday. So it's a very involved school. So even though obviously I'm not that far into my journey, I've kind of been brought involved with that. And it's just like a really like welcoming environment of everyone's so friendly, and it's just like a really nice place to be. I was one of these people, I had no confidence whatsoever. So the idea of like going to a training session was so scary to me, of like with all these people, of I don't know what I'm supposed to do if I do something wrong. But everyone was so friendly and so welcoming that I just kind of forgot about it, to be fair. And there are times like even now where I'll just completely mess up. I'll stand in the middle of the ring like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. And everyone's just like, it's all cool. You've got it. You know, we work through it together. And like nobody sat there judging you, which is something that I was always quite scared of. But it's nothing like that. I'm quite biased. I've never really trained anywhere else. I'd love to get the opportunity to, but Elevation is really all I've ever known, and it's fantastic.
Absolutely. I've seen some of their stuff. It's really, really good and stuff like that. Now, you've obviously spoke about your confidence and stuff like that. How has wrestling helped your confidence?
I think I was definitely one that didn't really like talking to people. I was scared of like venturing out, meeting new people. But like I said, when I went to obviously a training session and you're there with like all these new people, it's kind of like you can't just stand in a corner and talk to no one. You know, you're really thrown in the deep end of when you're training, you're going to work with this person, you're then going to go work with that person. And just having that confidence to now, like, I'll just go up and I'll speak to people and I feel comfortable working with them. And especially having shows and stuff, it's quite contradictory, to be fair, obviously, with being a dancer. I've danced on stage since I was 5, but I was always scared to go in front of a crowd wrestling wise, which some people find quite tricky to understand, but it was really like quite a bit of a block that I needed to get over. I remember for my first ever match, I was kind of like, I was more scared for my entrance than I was the match, because I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I come out the curtain and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But I think like many people say, like you come out of the curtain and it's just adrenaline hits and it's completely different. You just go. And I think now, I think just watching from like my first ever entrance to how I am now, it's just light and day of how like the crowd makes you feel, I guess. And you know, they've just boosted my confidence so much that I was like, okay, I've got this, I can do this now. So I think definitely in terms of like being in front of people, in front of a crowd, it's definitely helped me come on quite a lot.
Awesome, awesome. So before you obviously go out and perform and stuff like that, now how do you get yourself into the zone?
I I'm quite a stress head when I'm backstage. So I think if you ever seen me at a show, I don't kind of like get myself in my zone on my own. I'll just flit around between people and I'll walk over to this group, I'll have a chat with them, and then I'll be like, right, now I'm off, and I'll go and talk to somebody else. And I think keeping my distracted, just going off and chatting to people, it helps me calm down. And I'm quite like, I'll go over to someone, I'm like, oh, I'm stressing, and they're just like, chill. And I think it's that kind of like sort yourself out that gets me into the zone. Just I think it's other people get me in the zone and just help me calm myself a bit.
Okay, let's turn that question 180. How do you wind down after a match?
Oh, okay. So an energy drink, which I know that, you know, hypes you back up. But as soon as I've had my match, I have an energy drink, I have some food, and I'll just sit there. And then this is where I'm sat in my gear for an extra hour. But then after that is like when, especially at elevation, once our ring comes down, we go back to the unit and we put it back up. And that's probably like one of my favorite parts of the night, because the show's done, we put music on and everyone just has a laugh. Like it's just that relaxed vibe of everyone can breathe now, we're all done. And just like being with my friends at the unit, putting the room back up, taking our time. It's just a nice environment to be in. It's kind of like that's how I settle myself after such like a high of a day. Because you know what it's like, you put the ring up, you set your matches, you're going through this, you're going through that, you have the show, and it's just bang, 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 bang. And it's just that chance to just like stop for a minute. So I think that definitely helps me wind myself down.
I love it, and stuff like that. So this is obviously the question I mentioned before we came on the air and stuff like that. So for people listening, why should fans go check out Freya Rose? This is the way to promote yourself.
Okay. Okay. Good question. I like to think that I can put on a good show. You know, whether the wrestling's good or wrestling's bad, I'm just happy to be there. You know, I'll have a laugh. I like to interact with the audience. Making my entrance, I'll sit and I'll have a chat, you know, as I go round. So yeah, I like talking to the fans. So whether you enjoy my match or not, I'd still be happy to come and talk to you after. So a great reason to come and see Freya Rose is to just have a chat.
I like that. Do you know what? I love it. Yeah, I like that. Do you know what I mean? Straight to the point. I love it. Brilliant stuff like that. So, being obviously a wrestler and stuff like that, and juggling work, etc., etc., do you get the chance to watch wrestling still as a fan?
Oh, this is where I disappoint everyone now. I'm a really bad wrestler, considering that I don't really watch much of the product myself. Like I said, with my dad being a wrestler, he watches it all. So if it's on and I'm in the room, I'll sit there and I'll watch it. And obviously there's matches that I'm sat there on my phone and I look up and I'm quite intrigued and I was like, okay, I'll watch this. But as much as I wish that I'd go, right, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna watch this, I just don't have the time. Like I'd love to, but like you say, juggling all these other things that I do, I just don't have the time to watch it all. But if anyone has any recommendations, send them over and I'll give it a watch. But yeah, it's quite disappointing to people when I say that. I say I don't watch a lot. So everyone's like, oh come on, you know, you need to get better at that. You need to watch more. So I know it's something we'll work on.
The most common answer I get is YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, to be fair, I've recently had a lot come on from my TikTok of just like really old stuff as well. So I'm kind of like, I was saying, oh, do you know? Like, yeah. And I'm just like, well, this is news to me, you know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of stuff on my TikTok at the minute. So that, and like my friends as well, like they'll send me something, they're like, oh, this is a cool move, and it's like from something, you know, actual wrestling on TV. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd never seen that before, so I'll give that a try.
Okay. Many injuries?
No, I've had the odd slight injury, but they are caused by myself. There was a running joke the other day of I have this one move that I do, a spin kick, and I accidentally hurt my own ankle. As I kicked someone, I caught my ankle, and they was absolutely fine, but my ankle down. I was really struggling to stand on it, and I had to go backstage, get ice on it, and everything. And everyone came back and was like, "You really hurt yourself on your own move," and I was like, "Yeah, that's the kind of person I am." So nothing from anyone else, just me being my clumsy self of injuring myself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've never had that one. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, I'm just that clumsy.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the fan base and stuff like that. Now, for you, obviously, as a wrestler, what's something that fans will never understand when it comes to wrestling?
I think some people is kind of like, why do you do it? Of like, because people are like, they enjoy it, but a lot of people that I know are like, they're not hurt, and you're putting your body through all of this, and it's kind of an odd one because yes, I'll come back with covered in bruises, but I enjoy what I do. So as much as like fans enjoy watching it and stuff, they not many of them can understand why people do it when you come out in all these bruises and stuff. But it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just an odd feeling of I enjoy it. I enjoy putting on the show. I enjoy going through the moves, having a match. So I think that's one of the odd things of like why.
I think it's also as well. I mean, you spoke about obviously throughout the whole thing, the community, obviously, in wrestling.
Yeah, honestly, I love it. It's kind of like you say, the more you venture out as well, you meet people after people after people. And my favorite thing at the minute is obviously when I first started out and I was seeing all these different wrestlers on my Instagram and I was following them, and then I go to a show and I meet them and I talk to them. Harley Hudson was one. I'd followed her on Instagram for absolutely ages. And then on my first ever booking with PW, she was my opponent, and I was kind of like, I was just a bit like starstruck. I was just there in front of her, like, I've liked all your posts on Instagram for this long, and now we're having a match. And it's just kind of that really nice, you make friends with these people, you talk to these people that you never would in like day-to-day life. So I definitely enjoy that side of it.
Absolutely. What would you say the most rewarding thing is when it comes to wrestling?
I think it's the fans' reaction. When obviously I've mentioned so much about the children being my demographic, when they're like, "Oh, like I really want you to win this," or like try really hard, and then I'll go and win, and they're like, "I knew you could do it," and it's really like I'm just like, oh, they believe I've done that and I've made them happy because that's what they wanted. So I think that's what it is, just seeing the fans. And obviously at the minute, like I said, we're doing the kids classes. I've had recently two of the children from my kids class have made their debuts on shows, and just seeing like how far they've progressed just makes me feel like, yeah, I helped them do that. Like it's a really nice feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely, and stuff like that. So, obviously, like I say, you've been wrestling so long and stuff like that. What's the top three opponents for you, or you'd like to get in the ring with?
Oh, okay. I'd like to go Holly Barlow. I've met her. I think I've met her once. She was such a lovely person. She was amazing. So I'd love to get in the ring with her. I think like Lana Austin. I just see her everywhere, and again, amazing. Um, and Rio. Just seeing all these people. Oh, I'm bringing it back now. I'm like Lucia Lee. I know that's 4 now, but again, all over my Instagram, and it's just kind of. I think it'd be really fun to get in the ring with them, and they all seem like lovely people as well.
I think you and Holly would be interested, but I just know Lana's going to be around somewhere.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 there. But yeah, I remember her once, and she was just lovely. She was so sweet. I was like, yeah, I'd like to get in the ring with you.
Yeah, definitely want to stuff like that. So, I want to talk a little bit about social media and wrestling and stuff like that. It's got its good parts, it's got its bad parts. Do you think it's the bad parts are outweighing the good at the minute?
Um, at the minute, it's not too bad. Um, I think obviously it's with I guess it depends on how big you get on social media. I'm not quite up there yet, so I feel like I'm okay at the minute. But you know how the more people follow you, the more people can be negative. Um, And luckily, I've not had to deal with any of that yet. But, you know, I know for a lot of people, it can be quite a negative place. And all you're doing is, you know, trying to promote yourself, trying to put out there what you do. But some people just aren't here for that. So I think that it can be quite a negative place. But for the minute, I'm okay. And, you know, just hoping to keep it all that positive.
Absolutely. So obviously, I want to go back to Joseph Connors a little bit. What's the biggest piece of advice he's given you, which has stuck with you?
I think it's kind of just like believe in yourself. Like he's always been, like I said, I used to have a lack of confidence and, you know, just kind of didn't really think I could do it. And he's always one of these people of like, if you weren't ready, we'd never put you out there. So it's kind of just like, you might not believe in yourself right now, but the amount of people that do is like a lot more than how you feel about yourself. So it's just kind of like, no matter how you're feeling, just like keep on going. He's really positive of, you know, believe in yourself more, that kind of thing. So yeah, he's really helped me with that. A lot of kind of like, if I've done something, I'm like, I don't know. And he's, I know, like, give yourself a bit more credit. So I really appreciate him for that.
Absolutely. Has he ever been like tough on you? And I'm not talking obviously for like a negative way.
I feel like he's quite, he always makes you work hard. And it's kind of like, if you know, if you want something, you've got to earn it. And although he's never, like you say, never negatively say, oh, you need to work harder. It's kind of like the matches that he gives me, it's kind of like, I know, right, I need to step up now. He's given me this so I can step up to that. Like he's always preparing me for something more. So I think it's kind of like he pushes me in that way, in that aspect of, you know, just trying to help myself be better. So just like that.
Absolutely. Would you say you're your own worst critic in wrestling?
100%. 100%. As soon as I come back from a match, I'll go and see my dad, and he goes, "Oh, how do you think it was?" And I'm like, I really really enjoyed it, but this happened and this happened and this happened. He's right, stop. If you had a good match, you enjoyed it, that's all we need to worry about. And obviously, whenever we get footage back, me and my dad will always sit and we'll watch my matches together, and we'll watch it once and we'll enjoy it, and then we'll watch it a second time, and he'll help me of, okay, yeah, you did do this here, but this is how we can get it better. So even though I'm quite negative, he's always like, no, see the positives first, and then we can work on the little things that you might need to get a little better at. So
It's like
my dad helps me through that.
awesome. It's like everything in life. I mean, you probably agree with this. You're always learning, whether it's like work, whether it's wrestling, whether it's anything. You're always learning.
Definitely. But like you say, it's like you know what you're doing. It's just having that time to get back, take a step back, have a look at it, and this is how we fix it for next time.
Absolutely. So a few little more questions, obviously, begin to wind down and stuff like that. What's the goal, obviously, for you now? What's the rest of 2025 looking for you?
I would like to work up to that Elevation Women's Championship. Obviously, I've won the cup, so that's a nice little filler on my windowsill for now. But eventually, the end goal is to get that. I think with Elevation being my home promotion, that's always been the big goal. Obviously, my main goal for 2025, I always set myself a goal. And my goal for 2025 was to debut at 3 new promotions and win a belt. And obviously, I made my debut at PEW and I won the belt on my debut there. So I was kind of like, that ticked that off straight away for me. And I debuted for these promotions. So I think now it's just working towards that women's belt at Elevation, with obviously it being my home promotion.
What about beyond that? What about for next year? What's the long-term goal?
I'd like to get on even more. I'd like to, obviously, as we've mentioned, obviously these women wrestlers that you see that are out there on the scene, I just like to imagine myself being one of them. Like, I don't want to, you know, run before I can walk, but the end game is to, you know, get up to their level and, you know, just be on like the same shows as them. Just that kind of making my way up there, I guess.
I'm looking out for the Holly Barlow and Freya Rose match.
Hopefully we get that one day. I hope so.
Absolutely. So, if there's a lot of people going to be watching this thinking of getting into wrestling, what advice would you give them?
I'd just say, as scary as it is, go for it, because I think that's what held me back. Of, you know, I just wish I'd done it sooner. Like I was always like, no, I can't do it. I watched for about 4 years as a fan, thinking, oh, I wish I could, but I'm not ready. If you want to do it, just try it, because the worst that can happen is you try it and it's not for you. But if you do try it and you might find out, like I did, it's one of the best things that I ever did. So I think I'd just say, just do it.
Absolutely. And there's training schools absolutely everywhere. I mean, I can think of absolutely about several already.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many out there. And again, you go to multiple at a time. I obviously am with Elevation, and that's where I stick for the most. But like I said, there's so many out there that you can venture out, you can meet new people, you can train with new coaches. It's the best thing to do, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. Freya, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself today.
Oh, thank you. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely. So I need a couple of things from you. Number one, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Instagram, Freya Rose. Freya Rose Wrestler, just give that a follow, and then you'll see everything I'm up to on there.
So what we'll do is we'll put a link in the description of this video so people can jump from there and go and support you. How's that?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Got any shows booked coming up?
I do have a show next Sunday at Colville Emporium with Elevation, where I'm taking on Melissa Fierce.
Ooh, Miss Lynn, that's a good one. I can't wait for that one.
Yes, okay. We've had a few, so it will be nice to meet again.
Absolutely, stuff like that. So everyone I interview on this gets to do the outro for this show, so they can say anything they want. They can promote anything you want, and I'll end the stream. Freya, it's over to you.
Okay. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Give Freya Rose a follow, give Elevation a follow, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Thanks for watching, guys.